Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to 168 Hours, your weekly roundup of the top local stories. I'm Hafiz Abdul Sattar, your host for the evening. The reorganization of the cabinet is a direct manifestation of the public will. Mohammad Hussain Sharif, the chief government spokesperson, announces following the mass resignation of 10 ministers.
The restructuring was fundamentally designed to synchronize administrative operations with the pulse of the electorate, Sharif explained during an appearance on the PSM news program Rajya Miyadu. This overhaul follows recent election results that President Dr. Mohammad Muiz has attentively absorbed as a clear directive from the citizenry. These adjustments serve as decisive measures to fortify the government framework, Sharif said, ensuring the voices of the people are integrated into state governance. Addressing opposition criticism regarding the sudden departures, the spokesperson clarified that the officials acted in good faith, stepping down voluntarily to facilitate the reforms envisioned by the administration. Government operations are poised to become more resilient, a move intended to expedite development projects and translate public aspirations into realities. The reorganization represents a formidable decision requiring rare political courage, Sharif added. The president maintains a profound reverence for the constitution, Sharif assured, asserting that the administration would eschew any actions that destabilize the constitutional framework. The restructuring culminates in downsizing the cabinet to exactly 15 members.
According to the chief spokesperson at the President's office, Mohammad Hussain Sharif, the number of parties willing to support development projects in the Maldives has increased tenfold following the repayment of a major sukuk.
The government repaid the $500 million sukuk issued in 2021 on the 2nd of April. Speaking on PSM News' Rajya Miyadu program, spokesperson Sharif said that although some had predicted the Maldives would face bankruptcy, the government had ensured that this did not happen. He said the debt was cleared without taking an additional borrowing, using funds from the Sovereign Development Fund. He noted that the sukuk was linked to banks in the United Arab Emirates and said the benefits of repayment would become evident soon. Drawing on his experience as ambassador to the UAE, he said such outcomes can be seen quickly. He added that various UAE funds were now expected to collaborate on development projects with a significant increase in interested partners. He described the repayment as an important milestone, saying it had changed how the Maldives is viewed internationally, including perception of its development, governance, and future prospects. He added that further progress in development efforts would follow. Spokesperson Sharif said that the government was working with a clear vision and that tangible results would be visible to the public within the next 2.5 years. He said development projects would be completed more efficiently and that overall conditions, including the cost of living, prices of goods, and household expenses were expected to improve. He also stated that President Dr. Mohammad Muiz was governing in line with the will of the people. The total repayment amounted to $524.68 million, including $24.68 million in interest. The payment was made 6 days ahead of schedule. The sukuk had originally been issued by the previous administration to repay a $250 million Sunnyside bond. Since taking office, the current government has introduced measures aimed at reducing the economic burden of debt, including building reserves outside the SDF and revising airport development fees. The government says its priority following the repayment is to ensure the uninterrupted provision of essential services and goods.
A monument commemorating the centenary of Majidiyah School will be unveiled next year. The Minister of Education, Higher Education and Skills Development, Dr. Ismail Shafiu, announces that the Maldives approaches a historic milestone in its scholastic evolution.
Speaking at a special assembly for the institution's 99th anniversary, Minister Shafiu highlighted that Majidia must remain an exemplary paradigm for the national education system, uniquely positioned to model the instruction of future generations. Preparations for the 100th anniversary are already visibly underway. This structural development coincides with broader reforms, including the Binga character building program and a renewed commitment to practical competency and vocational training. The campus is set for further enhancements, including a new 40 classroom facility featuring the nation's first smart classrooms, a project previously signaled by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz. Simultaneously, the historic Dar al-Ulum building, a bedrock of Maldivian education since 1952, will be transformed into an educational museum. Since its founding as Madrasat al-Saniya on the 19th of April 1927, under Sultan Muhammad Shamsuddin III, the institution has evolved from a cohort of 69 students to a co-educational body of over 1,300. To align the school with contemporary digital standards, Minister Shafiu concluded the assembly by launching the institution's modernized website and YouTube channel.
Chief Government Spokesperson Muhammad Hussein Sharif says President Dr. Mohammad Muiz has established the Citizens Complaints Bureau as a cornerstone of his pledge to govern with the power of the people.
Speaking to PSM News, the spokesperson said that the new bureau is designed to serve as a direct conduit between citizens and the state, ensuring their concerns are heard and acted upon. According to Hussein Sharif, the Bureau, which mirrors similar institutions in advanced democracies, will leverage modern technology to efficiently manage public feedback. A key feature is the deployment of an AI tool to intelligently sort and route complaints to the relevant government agency for resolution. This system is designed to handle a high volume of input seamlessly to encourage open and honest feedback without fear of reprisal. The spokesperson gave a firm assurance that no action will be taken against anyone who files a complaint. The ultimate success of the Bureau, however, hinges on public participation, he said, adding that the office is committed to responding to submission as swiftly as possible. First announced during this year's presidential address, the Bureau was formally established on the 16th of April. The President's office has confirmed that operations will commence in the middle of this year, supported by a dedicated 24-hour call center to ensure accessibility for all citizens across the archipelago.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz says delays in the completion of the Tilamale Bridge project remain a major concern despite the government providing a full support to the contractor.
Speaking at a press conference, the President noted that the contractor has missed several deadlines set for the project and is now seeking further extensions. He said the government has extended all necessary cooperation to accelerate the work, but progress has not been satisfactory. The Tilamale Bridge project was initially scheduled for completion before the previous administration left office. However, the deadline was not met and the contractor subsequently requested additional time. The project is being carried out over a 30-month period with expenditure exceeding $100 million during this time frame. According to the latest update, the project is currently 71.6% complete. Work underway includes casting and installation of bridge deck segments. Of the 1,222 segments required, 84% have been cast, while 54% have been installed. Construction of the road network connecting the bridge is also in progress. Rebatment works and culvert installation are ongoing in Tilafushi. The overall project, including bridges and causeways, spans 6.7 kilometers and is designed to connect Male with Vilingili, Gulifalu and Tilafushi. The total cost of the project is estimated at $500 million. It is being financed through a $100 million grant and a $400 million line of credit from the Government of India, with additional funding from the Government of the Maldives.
President Mohammad Muiz announces that all future government recruitment will be based strictly on education and professional experience, effectively ending the long-standing practice of political appointments.
The declaration was made during the president's weekly press conference, where he outlined a comprehensive strategy to reduce the size of government and public expenditure in direct response to public demand. Citing the public's preference for a smaller government, President Muiz said the long-standing culture of awarding jobs based on election campaign involvement or political connections would come to an end. This meritocracy policy extends across all government entities. The Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises has already directed state-owned companies to reduce their workforce by 33%. The president assured that these reductions would be managed carefully, with employee evaluations conducted in a manner that avoids disrupting company operations. Additionally, a new mandate requires all state-owned companies to publicly announce any vacancies before hiring. President Muiz also confirmed that the work of those in political positions is also being evaluated and streamlined. He has already reduced the cabinet from 20 to 15 ministers and intends to apply stricter educational criteria for future political appointees, such as requiring a master's degree for a state minister and a bachelor's degree for a deputy minister.
President Dr. Mohamed Muiz describes the Maldives National Defence Force (MNDF) as the largest force deployed to protect and secure the people of the Maldives.
The president made the remarks in a message shared on social media to mark 134th anniversary of the Maldives National Defence Force. In his message, President Muiz said that the 134-year history of the Maldives' army is marked in gold by the sacrifices of martyrs and many brave individuals who have protected the nation from danger. He said there is no doubt that the army remains the most capable force entrusted with safeguarding the Maldivian people. The president expressed sincere appreciation to the MNDF for its dedicated service to the country, both day and night. He also extended greetings of the occasion to soldiers and their families. The service of the MNDF officially commenced on the 21st of April, and the date is observed annually as Army Day. A series of activities are being held across the Maldives to mark the occasion this year. Celebrations began with a special flag hoisting ceremony. Further events are scheduled in the coming weeks, including a military parade to be held in the capital on the 2nd of May. The official ceremony is set to take place on the evening of 9th May, with the participation of senior government and military officials. The ceremony will recognize soldiers who have demonstrated outstanding services in various fields, as well as members of the public who have supported the MNDF in different capacities.
The Bank of Maldives (BML) provides a significant influx of foreign currency to local businesses, facilitating over $100 million through telegraphic transfers (TTs) in the first quarter of this year.
The announcement was made by BML CEO and Managing Director Mohammad Sharif during a press conference detailing the bank's quarterly performance. Highlighting a substantial surge in demand, Sharif revealed that the bank sold a total of $106.2 million via TTs in Q1 of 2026. This figure represents a dramatic increase, averaging $35.4 million per month, far exceeding the 2025 monthly average of $14.6 million. The momentum has continued into April, with $27 million sold for 7,200 TTs as of Tuesday, including $2 million for 615 TTs processed just on Sunday and Monday of this week. According to Sharif, this spike is driven by a doubling of remittance required for the import of goods and foreign services this month. A similar upward trend was noted in card transactions, with monthly foreign exchange issuance for cards rising to $40 million, up from the 2025 monthly average of $32.5 million. BML has posted a net profit of $40.9 million for quarter 1 of 2026, a notable 27% increase compared to the same period last year. The bank's revenue reached $80.4 million, with operational efficiency improving as evidenced by a reduced cost-to-income ratio of 24%, down from 25% a year ago.
Amendments are proposed to strengthen the prevention of sexual harassment and abuse in the workplace.
The bill was submitted by parliamentarian for Kela constituency Abdullah Sharif on behalf of the government, seeking to enhance the Prevention of Sexual Harassment and Harassment Act. The proposed changes outline clearer responsibilities for employers and the sexual harassment prevention committees established under the Act with the aim of reinforcing safeguards against harassment in the workplace. The amendment also seeks to strengthen the rules and procedures followed by these committees when handling complaints, with a focus on protecting the rights of victims. In addition, it expands the scope of employers' authority to monitor implementation of the law and address challenges faced in enforcing it. Under the proposed changes, acts of harassment would not be limited to the workplace or official working hours, but could also include incidents connected to employment more broadly. Employers would be required to establish workplace-specific policies, conduct awareness programs and training, and ensure that clear action is taken against perpetrators to maintain a safe working environment. The bill further stipulates that the Human Rights Commission of the Maldives HRCM must be notified when such committees are formed, replacing the current requirement to notify the Employment Tribunal. Changes have also been proposed to the composition of the committees. While the current law requires 3 members, including at least 1 woman, the amendment follows for a flexible number of members with a minimum of 3 and representation from both sexes. The bill details procedures for handling cases requiring committees to notify decisions within 5 days. Committees will have up to 60 days to review cases, with the option to extend the period by an additional 30 days if necessary. It also grants committees the authority to suspend the respondent with pay during the investigation period. In cases involving members of the uniformed services, the bill states that such individuals hold positions of public trust and decisions made by committees in these cases must be referred to the civil court. The proposed amendment aims to strengthen protections for victims and improve enforcement mechanism under the existing law.
Minister of Islamic Affairs and Endowments, Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Saeed, states that a specialized regulation will be introduced to govern the provision of Hajj and Umrah services in the Maldives.
Responding to a question raised by a member of parliament, the minister said such regulation is necessary to address recurring issues where individuals pay for Umrah services but are unable to travel. Islamic Minister Dr. Shahim explained that the proposed framework would clearly define the roles and responsibilities of the Maldives Hajj Corporation and private service providers, while also establishing stricter penalties for failure to deliver agreed services. The minister noted that similar regulatory frameworks are in place in other countries, adding that stronger legislation is essential to minimizing such failures. Issues involving private Hajj and Umrah operators failing to deliver services have become increasingly frequent in 2025 and 2026, with some residents unable to undertake pilgrimage despite having paid the required fees. Hajj and Umrah services are currently provided under existing guidelines. However, the minister said a dedicated regulation would enable more robust oversight and help build greater trust among clients. The number of private Umrah service providers have also increased in recent years, with several companies currently offering pilgrimage packages in the Maldives.
Ali Hassan, the Minister of Homeland Security, Labour and Technology, says the government is exploring the implementation of criminal charges against individuals who engage in bullying, an initiative spurred by a concerning rise in tragic incidents across the nation's educational institutions and workplaces.
During a press conference at the President's office, Minister Ihsan announced that his ministry is collaborating closely with the Attorney General's office to develop a formal legal mechanism for prosecution. The administration is deeply committed to halting bullying alongside other infractions that violate established social norms, the minister said, noting that these offences can rapidly escalate into life-threatening situations. The legislative urgency follows a documented increase in severe harassment within schools, colleges, universities, and professional environments, which officials say has resulted in a succession of tragedies across the country. Despite widespread public apprehension, the country has historically lacked a statutory legal system that explicitly defines bullying as a punishable offense. The current administration is now striving to bridge this judicial void, which has been marked by an absence of prescribed legal penalties. Minister Ihsan affirmed that the government is preparing to enforce stringent penalties and take strict action once a concrete criminal framework is officially established. Ongoing consultations with the Attorney General's office are specifically designed to determine how these offences can be elevated to the level of prosecutable crimes.
Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Abdullah Muttalib, says more than 20,000 applications have been submitted so far for land plots and flats under the government's housing schemes.
The government's housing policy, Housing for All, was announced in November last year, with applications opening in January. Under the scheme, 15,000 plots of land and 7,900 flats have been made available. The minister said applications remain open, with around 16,000 forms currently in draft stage. He added that the total number of applications is expected to reach approximately 30,000. The government has introduced various categories for eligibility, taking into account different living conditions. This includes 2,400 flats allocated for residents in the capital and other designated groups, including special categories. Applicants who previously received two-bedroom flats under social housing schemes and who have children of both genders are eligible to apply for three-bedroom units. In addition, 1,500 plots have been reserved for persons with disabilities and for those relocating from congested areas. Although the government have already announced its housing schemes, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz decided to introduce additional categories after consulting with the public. As part of these changes, a program titled Goti Gedor has been launched to allow individuals to apply even if their spouse already owns housing, expanding eligibility based on public feedback. Those who previously received land jointly under earlier housing schemes will also be given the opportunity to apply for lands individually under the current program. The government has said the scheme aims to address long-standing housing challenges and expanding access to home ownership across the country.
And that's all we have for this week. Stay tuned for more updates. Have a good day.